What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Real Time with Dan. And in today's episode, we're actually going to be pretty much reflecting back a little bit, as well as keeping up to date on what's been happening in the world. So, of course, everything that's going on, we're still in this epidemic, and it's pretty obvious. But a lot has changed because it's been a while since I last done one of these. Last time I did one of these was probably back in May, I think it was. It is now officially the end of July. So, as of now, a lot has changed. And what really has changed? Well, first thing, of course, most indoor areas such as trampoline parks, for example, or things like that, or gyms, they are now allowed to reopen. Of course, with social distancing bared in mind, as well as other cleaning schedules and other measures. So just to keep people at a sensible distance, as well as I think to try and limit how many people go in. So that does also mean that flip out's back. So that's probably going to be where I come in, but still, it'll be a while till I go back there. So we shall see. Anyway, and apart from that, a lot really hasn't changed in terms of the amount of infections. The infections has been up and down as of late, and according to new guidelines, according to one here, so it's now saying, according to the government, they've now announced that they are going to increase the amount of days you're meant to self-isolate if you've got suspected symptoms. Rather than it being a week, it's going to be 10 days. So it's essentially a week and a half. Now, there's a reason for this. Basically, the period of time from this from 7 days after to 10 days after, apparently that's the peak time of how infectious you can be, even if you've only got mild or no symptoms. So that's what they're saying. But personally, I don't know if I can really get on board with that. I still think that's a little bit unusual and a little bit bizarre, but that's the government for you. They have been quite bizarre from the very beginning, but you can't really hit back too hard. So the other thing as well is with pubs and clubs with pubs and nail salons and hairdressers reopened, and of course with social distancing and all that involved, I personally thought it was a silly idea of reopening them. Now, obviously, for the business's sake, it is good. It's good to see they're now back, they're making money again, and they're finally getting the business somewhat back up to normal levels. However, I think the pubs was a very bad idea, and there's a good reason for this. And it's pretty obvious. When you're drunk and when you're hammered, your thought process goes out the window, and you generally want a kebab. The thing is, when you're drunk, obviously everyone's different. Everyone's got different levels of intensity when they're drunk. So I personally think they should monitor how much people are drinking, really. Or what they should do is when people go in and when they sit down, order what they want on the app, maybe then the system will register, okay, they've had that. Does that seem do they appear to have been experiencing any change physically? Are they starting to waver about a little bit, or are they starting to walk a bit lopsided? At that point, I would have simply said, right, okay, I think you've had enough, mate. I think you probably ought to consider just slowing down, or maybe just having a water. Because personally, people's drinking habits around here are awful, and that's why I don't drink, because it's silly. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion. I can say whatever I want. The next thing is going to be on about basically the coronavirus and all the things that are concerned when you're traveling. Because, of course, now we are allowed to travel, and there are a lot of countries exempt from having to quarantine if you go to them. So, for example, I've actually got the list right here on the screen, and I'm going to take a second. I'll pop it up. And, of course, that's giving you a broad example of if you go on holiday to these countries, you do not have to self-isolate after the fact for 14 days. However, some countries have been added to a list of countries where you do. So that includes, I do believe, it does include Spain, and the US. The weird thing is, though, is in between that is the Bahamas. The Bahamas are in between the US and Spain. So Spain is like they're having quite a few cases every day, but the US is having thousands. And of course, if we come up here a little bit, we can now see this is the rate. This is basically sort of like the 7-day average of infections across the different nations. So the UK, in general, it goes up quite steeply and then it levels off and then it comes back down. And then it rises up again a tiny little bit. But so in other words, it's kind of like going up the Himalayas and then coming down and then approaching the Yorkshire Dales. That's basically what is happening there. Spain, on the other hand, that took a very sharp increase. Like it went up almost near vertical, and then it suddenly went right back down again. And suddenly, it levels out quite reasonably. But recently, it started to take another quite steep incline. So you can see the rate of infections there is spiking up quite dramatically. And now their rolling average their average per 100,000 is 34.6 cases, whereas the UK is only 16. So that's quite a dramatic difference. And if we scroll down and see other countries, you can see roughly a similar thing to the UK. So France, Italy, Turkey, Portugal. But the surprising thing is Portugal, Croatia, and Greece. They are. Like Portugal, you can see wasn't too bad actually. Like I'd say they definitely handled it well. Croatia and Greece, there's hardly any evidence of there being any coronavirus at all. Of course, like there's not really a lot you can say about that. They probably were very much ahead of us. So there you go. Now, of course, this does mean you need to choose where you're going to go on holiday with a lot of care, and of course, it does mean you've got to take you've got to take massive precautions. So, anyway, apart from all that, coronavirus and all that, it is still around. We are having to see a slightly bigger increase of cases each day. It's not massive. I think in the last few days, we've had consistent numbers of about 700 cases a day. But the thing is, everyone freaks out thinking, "Oh no, we're gonna have a second spike. We're all gonna die." Actually, there's a few factors that come into that. Well, obviously, restrictions have eased, so people are going to more places. So that means a lot more cleaning has to be done. So there's a potential there. The rate of, the volume of testing is increased dramatically. I reckon that is nearer to 200,000 than we would ever have thought. Like at the start of this pandemic, we were only about 12,000 tests a day, which is pretty low. And even then, we were seeing several thousand cases, like maybe 2,000-3,000 a day, and it was quite horrifying. It made you think, "Oh God, this infection is terrible. Like it's killing everyone." Now we're seeing about 700 infections from around maybe over 150,000 tests, maybe 200,000. We don't know. So that's the thing. Everyone needs to get out of that panic, but we have to remember that we are still in a pandemic. Please don't forget that, because the people who are not social distancing, you need to do that. Despite the fact that shops now, or some of them, have taken away their one-way system. Even my local supermarket's done it, and everyone's gone mad. In fact, even I will admit, even I found it very helpful to know that, I'm not going to have anyone like passing by me like that, or, crisscrossing or anything like that, because the thing is, people that flout them, please stop it. But now, of course, with the one-way system gone, now there's no way to stop that. So we now, however, on that, shops are now, the government has announced as of, quite a few weeks ago, that wearing a face mask in a shop or like in an indoor enclosed space is mandatory, which I think is quite a good call. But I wonder, why did they not think of that before? Like, they could have done that back in April. But I think because of the one-way system and because of the queuing that was happening outside the store, there was virtually no need, really. But I'm not really one to judge, so that's all I can say. Anyway, so I think we'll move it on. I'm going to move on to some YouTuber news. Now, two of these are quite sad, so just brace yourself a little bit. So, First one is on Deji, who is KSI's brother now, or JJ. So Deji, or Comedy Shorts Gamer, recently announced that the decision for his dog was final. Now, if you didn't know, he had a German Shepherd called Tank, who was about up to the point where we saw him in videos, was about a year old. So he was still he was quite young. He was a loving German Shepherd, and he was generally quite a good dog. However, a case erupted when a neighbour came round, I think, to drop off a parcel, and Tank ran up to her, and all that happened. But I'm not gonna ramble on about that. If you want to know the full story, check out all of his videos, because of course he will explain it better than I ever could. But the overall impact is that Tank is unfortunately being put down, which is it's unfortunate. It's unfair, it's disgusting, and personally I do think Tank deserved a way of life. It's silly. Like, the amount of things that I could say about the people that were handling this, like on Deji's team, it's silly. I personally think Deji deserved a chance to win Tank back. Like, Tank deserved a good life. But why would you name a dog dangerous if all he did was bite someone on the hand? Like, it wasn't like as if the dog was trying to kill her or anything. Or, the fact is, like, if you attack something, like if you attack a dog, of course the dog's going to try and attack you back, or they'll think you're trying to play with them. But in reality, the dog could have been absolutely frightened. Not aggressive, but frightened and aggressive are two different things, generally speaking. It's kind of more of like, it's like putting angry and anxious together. Like, that's sort of what it really is. And the fact is because someone hit him first. But seriously, it's unjust, is what that is. But no, I want to say, big up to you, Deji. I hope you recover from this. I hope your family's doing okay, and I do hope that, I hope this all works out in the end, even though it's happened the way it has. I'm really sorry, my man. And in more slightly sad news, another YouTuber called Matthew Santoro. Now, to give you some backstory, this is a guy who did a bunch of top 10s on certain subjects, like scary things, or internet things, or generally in things in general, even 10 everyday things that you've been doing wrong, as well as 50 facts to amaze you. And then he changed his channel. However, he recently uploaded a video onto his channel, and it didn't look good. I generally thought it would have been one of those clickbait videos, but it certainly was not. It's called Everything I Own Was Stolen. And it pretty much just sets the tone. Basically, he had moved from Los Angeles, which is where he originally had moved to from Toronto, and he's moved back to Toronto because he's a Canadian YouTuber. And he basically hired a company to come out and move all of his stuff. So basically, he was moving it. So whatever. And that's relevant. So, and then he got back to suddenly find that the truck and everything of all his stuff was stolen. Now, I'm sorry. And he even goes on to say that he did not trust the company to begin with. Well, in that case, I would have simply said, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm going to find a different one. But that's the thing. When you go for companies that you're still not particularly sure of, I mean, you may not be sure of any of them, but it really comes down to, you got to make sure you know who to contact. Just do a little bit of research, find which one works for you. But, who knows? Who knows what may happen? I really hope he gets justice for this. I hope he manages to find the people or I hope he manages to, sort this out. I hope they track down the people that did this and give all his stuff back. He definitely, I got introduced to this channel by Ryan because, admittedly, I didn't know it even existed. I personally had never heard of the guy because I think what happened was, funny story, Ryan actually showed me a video of his, which was the top 10 creepiest, or the 10 freakiest creepypastas ever. And I thought it was actually quite freaky, but it was quite funny. But at the same time, it showed what he was all about. And I personally thought he was, I thought he was a genuinely brilliant guy. He's amazing. But this is just the icing on the cake with a cherry on top. It genuinely is, it's devastating. And I hope, Matt, if you ever watch this, I doubt you ever will, but if this message ever gets out to you, we're all there for you. You've got amazing friends, family, and fans, okay? And everything will set itself right in the end. You just gotta try hard, and like even with the highest peaks and the lowest valleys, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Anyway, so I think that's enough depressing news for one day. And, I hate to call it depressing news. It's just enough sad news for one day. So anyway, let's move on to another bit of news. Now, this is actually quite a little bit bigger. So, of course, we all know KSI, don't we? Pretty much the most popular, one of the most popular YouTubers on the internet. Recently, he's actually brought out 2 new songs. Now, the first one of these is called Killer Killer, which also features Ayana Lee. And this is literally the bee's knees. I actually like this song. I actually had a little bit of a listen to this, and I actually genuinely love it. And he also brought out one quite recently called Lighter. Now, this was a little bit after, obviously, so only about a couple of days ago. Now, I personally prefer Killer Killer. I don't know why. It's more my vibe. Lighter, I do think is a good song, but Killer Killer, I think, oh my god, man, it's brilliant. I love it how it's the right level of intensity and the right level of mixing it up, really getting some different tones in there. And I think the singers, I think Ayana Lee and KSI, they complement each other so well in this song. Genuinely is one of the best songs I've heard for a while, because some songs nowadays have been utter rubbish. But still, yeah, I do hope KSI does. I really do wish KSI all the best. He's doing so well for himself, and even now his second channel is nearly at 10 million subscribers, and he'll get his diamond play button soon. And at the same time, I do hope Deji gets his 10 million subscribers back, because he reached it originally, and then it fell back again, which is utterly, I'm more of a KSI fan, but I do like Deji to some extent. But I will also say, I do think some YouTubers take things too far. For example, I've had to unsubscribe from quite a few of them, like Jack Doherty. I can't stand him anymore, because he's become a little bit immature. He's going on saying, oh yeah, he bombed a Zoom call, or basically he infiltrated a Zoom call with a friend of his, and then he got arrested, and he may be going to prison, and all this stuff. I just think it's all fake. I personally think it's all fake, but in reality, if it's all real, well, whatever, that's up to you, man, but that's it. I don't know, and you can call me irrelevant, whatever, and honestly, I couldn't give a tummy toss, if I'm being honest. I couldn't give a tutney toss. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Bringing up all this drama and saying you're getting arrested and all this sort of stuff, it's well, should listen to your parents. That's all I can say. Now, finally, I want to just show you something quite funny. Now, this was saved from a friend of mine. Now, this is genuinely one of the most fabulous things I've ever shown. So a guy basically renamed his, he basically took his account and changed the name to customer support for different companies and responded to some complaints. Now, of course, he was trolling, so this may offend some people, and I'm sure the ones who this happened to, or the people who wrote the original comment, are probably going to be quite furious with this. But of course, now they know for a fact that it was just a guy taking the mickey. It was, of course, I do sympathise with those who did get trolled. But at the same time, I do think some of these are absolutely brilliant. So anyway, let's have a look. So anyway, let's move on. Here we go. First one. This is at Sainsbury's. So the person complains saying, I bought a pack of Always Ultra sanitary pads in store, only to discover there were 14 in the pack rather than 16 as stated. I do not want to use the rest as the pack has been tampered with. Do I complain to you or always direct? Please advise. And the guy said, as customer support for Sainsbury's, he says, Are you only mad because it's that time of the month, though? Oh my god, that's brilliant. That's funny. That is good. And then the one who made the complaint says, "Really? How unprofessional to make a rude joke over a personal matter. Absolutely disgusting." And the customer support or the bloke says, "I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. Jokes about a woman's menstrual cycle are not funny. Period." Oh my god, man. This guy's on point. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing at this, but this is gold. Like, seriously, this guy deserves a medal. Right, next one. So this is at TGI Fridays. So this is actually not a complaint. This is more of this has been brilliant. So, would just like to say a big thank you to Susie, who served us at TGI Fridays Corner House in Nottingham last night. She couldn't do enough for us and was excellent with the kids. She deserves a big pat on the back. The Jack Daniel's sauce was also as delicious as ever. And the customer support, or the bloke, says, "I'm afraid we had to let Susie go. We caught her shitting in the JD sauce again. If she shows up to her disciplinary, we'll be sure to pass it on. Thanks for your feedback, and we hope to see you again soon." Yeah, like as if you're ever going to be having them come back after what you've just said. And then then they say, "I don't understand as a company why you say that, even if it was true. Please tell me this is some sort of wind up." Oh no. And the customer support says, "Oh, like Susie, I shit you not." I mean, this guy knows exactly what to say at exactly the wrong time. I was about to say the right time, it's the wrong time. Like, that's how to make someone get paranoia. Anyway, so this is at B&Q. "I bought a Verve Garden hoe from you in February, but I only got round to using it this weekend. After just a few hours use, I noticed that the end of the hoe had cracked. I returned it and was told that it could not be replaced as you no longer stock it, and I wasn't eligible for a refund as my purchase was over 3 months ago. I reluctantly accepted a credit note, but what use is this when I need to replace a hoe you no longer sell?" This is just, this is so set up. And the guy goes, "These hoes ain't loyal." And yeah, the guy immediately puts question mark, and then, "I have screenshots and will be sending to your bosses. Unbelievable." So it seems the guy is in deep doo-doo here. Anyway, so then he goes, "Oh, come on, man. Bros before hoes." The funny thing is, though, the first time I've heard that is on The Only Way is Essex from Mr. James R. Argent. Such a dickhead he was saying that. It's never bros before. It's bros before does is what you actually say. It would technically, but still, I think that's a much like more PG friendly way of saying it. Like, it's more child friendly. Bros before does. I think that's what it should really be called. Right, and this one is from Argos. So, "Think it's absolutely disgusting to open a game, boom ball game, to play with my son, to find it's got 3 missing bits, especially the most important part, the balls. It's bloody Christmas, and we now have a toy down. Do not expect a brand new toy to have missing parts." And the customer support guy goes, "You think that's bad? On a recent trip to Thailand, I came across a pair of balls which I was assured wouldn't be there. But I paid my money, and as they say, when in Rome." I don't know why I'm talking like this now. And the guy who made the comment goes, As amusing as I found that, can you actually do anything about the above, please?" I like how he immediately got that. Like, he found that quite funny. I think he was onto this. Oh no. And the guy replies back saying, "Major surgery and plenty of lube." No! Oh my god! No! No! We're moving on. We're moving on. This is really inappropriate. I can't do this. Oh my god! Right. So, from Costa Coffee, I recently ordered a takeout latte at one of your stores, only to discover I had the wrong drink after leaving. When I returned, I was made to feel this was my fault for picking up the wrong drink when it was handed to me. I suggest you take names of customers and write on cups like Starbucks to avoid mix-ups. And the customer support goes, there you go. It says, so on the cup he put moaning, see you next Tuesday. Yeah, nice one. And this, oh my god, and this is the response. Okay, brace yourselves, everyone. Absolutely vile staff. I'll be taking this further, and I hope you lose your job for this. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, anyone who says that in their job, wow, that's immediate. That's an immediate P45 right there. Right, so this is in Marks and Spencer's. Terrible service in the Queensgate Peterborough store. 2 staff gossiping while serving me. It's not the service I expect from M&S. One of the girls was called Claire, but didn't see the other girl's name. Very rude. And then M&S, or the customer support guy, goes, don't be a gross. Not cool. And then she goes, excuse me, is that an attempt at humour? Very unprofessional. I spend a lot of money with you. Why wouldn't I complain or grasp when it's my money that pays wages? And the guy goes, snitches get stitches. It is true, though. It is actually quite true. But the thing is, of course, this is all trolls. So realistically, this is all completely null and void. So, okay, W.H. Smith. Okay, so from W.H. Smith. Hello, I would like to know why you are now closing at 5 when it's always been 6:30 before. I walked for over 20 minutes to get there and was very disappointed to find you closed. Don't you think you should let customers know about times if they're changing? Very annoying, as it was a very long walk there and back for nothing. And the guy from customer support goes, excuse my language, F me, the proclaimers ain't getting nothing on you. And then the person responds saying, that is not how you speak to a loyal customer. You will be in trouble for this. I cannot believe you have done that. Customer support then goes, she did walk 500 miles and she will walk 500 more just to be the woman who walked 1,000 miles to find a locked store door. I believe that's a reference to a song. Please, someone let me know. Oh my god, some of these are ridiculous. Like someone needs to give this guy some chill pills. So, fresh from McDonald's, and before I start with this one, I just want to say the amount of people that are getting stick in McDonald's, stupid. Anyone who's going to start calling McDonald's staff names, ridiculous. Stop it. Anyway, enough of that. This morning, I ordered a porridge from the drive-thru, then was asked to park in bay parking. Took 5 minutes to arrive, making me late for work, and when opened it was lukewarm. How hard is it to have porridge ready in a morning? And the guy on customer support says, how hard is it to get your Goldilocks ass up a bit earlier in a morning? Oh my, that is the stinger, that is. Oh my god. And then the person who made the original complaint goes, I'm actually speechless. And the customer support goes, I wish you were. I don't know why I said it like that, but heck, you got to give it a cool effect. You got to act. You got to do method acting, haven't you? Right, and from New Look. I am extremely frustrated with the sizing of your clothing. Why do you not cater for the taller girl? ASOS and Topshop are miles ahead when it comes to looking after its taller customers. I'm 5'11" and nothing you have fits. I'm sick of returning items at my expense. It's a shame, as I found the perfect dress. I won't be shopping with you again. Sort it out. I think this is definitely going to kick up some controversy here. Oh my god. From customer support. Pipe down, Caitlyn Jenner. I'm absolutely dying this morning. Had a bit of a mad one last night. Proper feeling it now, though. Oh. Come back in 6 hours when my shift's over. And wow, did the person who made the original complaint have a right comment or right go back? Says, how dare you make fun of my height? I'm actually in shock at that reply and think it's disgusting that you think it's acceptable to speak to a customer like that. Again, I don't know why I'm talking this way, but seriously, there'll be people in this world who think I'm insane. Who cares? Anyway, so that's pretty much that. And so, yeah, you can pretty much see very differing responses. And of course, if you are being trolled, like generally, like someone who's taking the mickey, like they'll take advantage of that. Personally, I think it is a bit childish, but you can't deny it is a tiny bit funny. But yeah, just there's an odd balance. So choose your moment wisely. But anyway, I think I'll be rounding the video off there. And I've got to say, since I last did a podcast, it has been different. But heck, you've got to try new things, haven't you? Anyway, I do hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, then make sure you do smash that like button. And also, if you want to see more, then be sure to click the subscribe button down below. And be sure to hit the bell icon so you'll not be missing any videos. Be sure to check out the channels and the links in the description. And of course, the videos I mentioned in this video. Of course, please check them out. It's worth a watch, Be sure to support those YouTubers who are experiencing difficulties right now. And be sure to stay safe in this whole epidemic. And above all, take great care. And I'll see you all next time.